Every day I wake up to questions like, how do I learn market entry cases? How do I solve profitability cases? Where can I find airline cases? Where can I learn about automobile cases? What do all these questions have in common? Well, first, they are questions often asked by case beginners. It's so natural to ask this kind of question, and not just in case interview prep, but nearly any kind of high-stake test prep. I was there as well when I first started. It's only later that I actually realized how wrong these questions were, or at least how many candidates would treat the issue the wrong way, and how much they all missed the point of case interview prep and of learning in general. Hi, I am Kim Tran, former McKinsey consultant and founder of Consulting Prep Platform. Welcome to another of my 5-minute guide series. For this video, I'll address the issue of case prep by industry and case type. I'm going to make a 3-part series on this topic, so stay tuned. Now, learning cases by industry and by case type is not an issue in and of itself, but when people make it the end, and not the means, when they learn cases by volume without paying much attention to the logic behind, that's when it becomes a problem. How many industries and case types are you supposed to learn? A quick Google search would find that most sites that list case interviews by industry would have anywhere from 30 to 50 industries, going from well-known ones like FMCG or media to the lesser-known ones such as chemicals and industrial equipment. Industry classifications such as GICS and ICB lists 50 to 70 industries if you apply the term often used in case prep. For the sake of this video, I'll take the middle number, and that's going to be 50. For that, you'll have anywhere from 10 to 30 depending on the site. For example, profitability, growth strategy, M&A, etc. being the most common, but there's also change management, macro analysis, private equity, and so on. Again, I'll take the middle number, so that's going to be 20. 50 and 20 alone don't sound like much until you combine these two numbers. Multiply 50 with 20 and you'll have a whopping 1,000 industry and type combinations. Now, you are definitely not going to learn all 1,000 possible combinations, just the ones that are common, no? Even if you use the Pareto principle and reason that only 20% of these combinations will account for 80% of all case interviews, that's still 200 combinations to learn. Even if you only do one case for every combination, that's 200 cases. If you do one case every day, that's still more than half a year. We haven't taken into account that one case per combination is much less than optimal. Usually you'll need 2 to 3 cases each, so you have a chance to make mistakes and improve, and that results in a prep time of 400 to 600 days, non-stop. And then, assuming you manage to learn 200 combinations or 80% of possible cases, the chance that all of your 4 interviews being within this 80% is 80% to the power of 4, and how much is that? 41%. Turn that number around, that means there's a 59% chance of encountering at least one case you haven't prepared for. In other words, after spending a full year on case interviews prep, you are more likely to encounter at least one unprepared case than not. And that's before we take into account real-world nuances and the interviewer's, creativity. They know candidates are preparing for the common case types and industries, so they might, and I know a few interviewers do, come up with unconventional cases so they can see through the preparedness, so they can take the candidate out of their comfort zone. Or they might just take a real-world project or business they have done and turn it into a case for interviewing, sometimes on the spot. That means the case will be raw and nuanced. You can only solve them if you somehow acquire specific information relevant to that case only, for example, client preferences or local factors. That's quite a long build-up already. My point there was to show you how impossible it is to prepare for case interviews by industry and by case types mathematically. So, what's the solution? You will need to replace those systems with something else that's not only more comprehensive but also less complicated. I will discuss those systems and how you can actually create one for yourself in the second video of this series. Industries and case types are not entirely out, however, and I will talk about how they can actually be used effectively in the third and final video. Remember to not focus on industries and case types, and you will make it to consulting. That's the end of today's video. If you like our contents, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications to receive our latest updated videos. We also have a consulting community. Follow the in the description to connect with cool, like-minded people and experts. At Consulting Prep, we believe that everyone can make it to consulting. Are you a believer?